This week's POW is called apple picking, so here's your sample. It says Brock picked a quarter of the apples on his grandmother's tree. After Brock finished, Grace picked a third of the apples that were left on the tree. After Grace finished, there were 36 apples left on the tree. How many apples were on the tree before they both picked apples? So we're going to go ahead and take a bar here. And it says Brock picked a fourth of the apples. So I'm going to split my bar into fourths here. And Brock picked 1/4. So that 1/4 right there is Brock. Now, what was left? If Brock picked 1/4, that meant there were 3/4 left. Hopefully that makes sense to you because we start out with the whole tree filled with apples. After he finished, Grace picked a third of what was left on the tree. So right now, this is what is left on the tree, 3/4 of what was initially there. It's already divided into thirds for us. So Grace is actually going to pick a third of what was left. So this right here is Grace's third. After she finished, there were 36 apples left on the tree. So once she was done, what was left here is represented by 36. Each of these blocks is actually representing the same size. So if we divide this up equally, this is 18 apples are represented by each of those blocks, which tells me since all these blocks are the same size, this is represented by 18, and this is also represented by 18, which tells me at the beginning there were 18 times 4, or 72 apples on the tree. So 72 apples. Hey, I'm going to give you some hints to kind of get started on the regular problem for this week. So it says Bill picked half the apples on his grandmother's trees. After he finished, Sally picked a third of the apples that were left on the tree. So again, go ahead, represent with a block. Bill picked a half, so this is all from Bill. Since Bill picked a half, that means there's a half left. Sally picked a third of what was left on the tree, so this half we now have to split into 3 parts, and she picked one of them. That's Sally. Now, this was a half split into 3 parts. This can also be represented by those same 3 parts so that the tree is divided into 6 parts. That will help you to finish the rest of the problem because after Sally was done, there were 40 apples left. Look back at the sample. How did we do that with the 40?